Kapag insufficient yung share premium, ang related debit niya is retained earnings directly. Ano ba yung retained earnings? Naalala nyo ba yung retained earnings? Ano yung sabi kong retained earnings? Yes, accumulated profit or loss. So, dito nyo i-debit yung share issuance cost. For example, on January 1, ABC Company issued 1,000 shares with par value of 100 for 120 per share. Share issuance cost amounted to 5,000. So, debit nyo lang cash, 1,000 times 120, which is 120,000. Credit share capital, 100,000. Credit share premium of 20,000. So, may issuance cost kang 5,000. So, debit nyo lang share premium, 5,000. Credit cash, 5,000. So, ganun lang kasimple yung share issuance cost, paano i-account. Kapag wala kayong share premium, debit retained earnings. Okay? So now, mag-proceed tayo sa treasury shares. Ano ba yung treasury shares or treasury stocks? Are an entity's own shares that were previously issued but are subsequently reacquired but not retired. So nag-issue sila sa public ng shares, ngayon binili nila ulit sa public or sa kanino bang investor na in-issue previously yung shares na yon. So, reacquired pero hindi nila ni-retire or kinancel yung shares. So, nandun lang yun sa books nila as a deduction kapag may treasury shares. So, under the corporation code, an entity may reacquire its previously issued shares only if it has sufficient unrestricted retained earnings. So, hindi basta-basta pwede bilhin ng isang company ang previously issued shares nila kasi kailangan ng appropriation ng retained earnings. Kailangan sufficient yung retained earnings nyo sa kung amount magkano may bibilhin nyo sa previously issued shares nyo. So, treasury shares are accounted for using the cost method. Cost method meaning magkano nyo binili ulit yung shares. The reacquisition and subsequent reissuance of treasury shares are recorded at cost. Treasury shares are presented as deduction in the shareholders' equity. It is a contra-equity account. So, negative siya sa shareholders' equity account nyo. So, kapag pinapakompute yung total shareholders' equity nyo sa problem, remember kapag given yung treasury shares, deduction siya. Given yung subscription receivable, deduction siya. All other items, i-add nyo. Okay, yung 2 items lang yung mga contra-equity account, yung subscription receivable and treasury shares. So, example, on January 1, the statement of financial position of ABC Company shows the following information. So, meron siyang share capital issued of 800,000 with 100 par value, share premium of 160,000, and then retained earnings of 540,000. So, total shareholders' equity nyo is 1,500,000. On July 1, ABC reacquires 1,000 shares at 90 pesos. So, ano yung entry nyo kapag nag-reacquire ng shares? Debit treasury shares, 1,000 times 90, 90,000. Credit cash, 90,000. Credit cash kasi binili nyo ulit yung previously issued shares nyo. Binayaran nyo yung investor kung sino man yung investor na inisyuhan nyo ng share before. Yan. So, ano yung amount na debit ginamit is the cost of the treasury shares, which is 90 pesos. So, 1,000 times 90, 90,000 yung debit nyo sa treasury shares. And then, when you purchase treasury shares or you acquire shares, you appropriate part of your retained earnings, unrestricted retained earnings. So how do you appropriate? Debit retained earnings unrestricted, meaning of unrestricted, free of use. Hindi siya ni-restrict for future use. Kasi you can restrict your retained earnings kapag meron kang appropriation, like meron kang expansion later on, nag-appropriate ka ng retained earnings of, let's say, 10 million. So that appropriated retained earnings or restricted retained earnings, you cannot use that for distribution of profits to shareholders. Sakit ng lalamunan ko. Okay, so mag-appropriate kayo every time mag-re-acquire kayo ng share. So, paano yung entry nyo? Debit retained earnings unrestricted, credit retained earnings appropriated 90,000. So, ganun lang yung journal entry nyo. So, retained earnings represent the cumulative profits, net of losses, distribution to owners, and other adjustments which are retained in the business and not yet distributed to the shareholders. The total retained earnings may consist of unrestricted portion that is available for future distribution and appropriated or restricted portion that is not available for distribution unless the restriction is subsequently reversed. Kapag ni-reverse nyo na yung appropriation nyo, pwede nyo na siyang gamitin, meaning unrestricted na siya. So makikita nyo rin yan sa equity section ng balance sheet nyo. Retained earnings appropriated, retained earnings unappropriated. Or retained earnings unrestricted, retained earnings restricted. So makikita nyo yan sa balance sheet ng corporation nyo under equity section. Yan. So these treasury shares can either be reissued or retired. So kapag nag-reissue kayo at cost, meaning same sa magkano nyo siyang pinurchase, ang entry nyo dyan is debit cash 90,000, credit treasury shares 90,000. And then i-reverse nyo na yung appropriation sa retained earnings nyo. So debit nyo na yung retained earnings appropriated, credit nyo na yung retained earnings unappropriated. Okay? So ganun lang, i-reverse nyo lang tong entry na to. Kapag reissuance at cost. Kapag reissuance at more than cost naman, meaning 90 pesos nyo siya binili dati pero ni-reissue nyo siya at 140 pesos, ganito naman yung entry nyo. Debit cash, 1,000 times 140 equals 140,000. Credit treasury shares, 90,000 lang. Kasi remember, sa rule na to, the reacquisition and subsequent reissuance of treasury shares are recorded at cost. So kung ano man yung acquisition nyo ng treasury shares, 90 pesos, yun din ang i-credit nyo upon reissuance, 90,000. And then the difference is share premium treasury shares. So sa equity section nyo rin, marami kayong classes ng share premium. Meron kayong share premium preference shares, meron kayong share premium ordinary shares, meron din kayong share premium treasury shares, meron din kayong share premium donated capital. So depende yung share premium nyo sa transaction nyo or share premium retirement. So later on, madi-discuss din natin siya. Kapag below cost naman ang reissuance nyo, kapag ganito yung order of priority ng related difference nyo. So debit cash, let's say 60 naman na reissue, debit cash 1,000 times 60, 60,000. And then credit nyo treasury shares 90,000. So yung difference na 30,000 in order of priority, kapag meron kayong share premium treasury shares, ito yung ide-debit nyo. Pero kapag wala, ide-debit nyo yung retained earnings. So since wala kayong share premium treasury shares dito sa balance sheet equity section nyo, wala kayong share premium treasury shares, hindi nyo pwede gamitin yung share premium ng ordinary share capital nyo. Dapat share premium treasury shares. Huwag kayong kumuha dito kasi ibang class ng equity account yan. So, since wala kayong share premium treasury shares, ide-debit nyo yung difference sa retained earnings. So again, i-reverse nyo yung appropriation sa retained earnings nyo. Debit retained earnings appropriated 90,000, credit retained earnings unappropriated 90,000. Yan. So when treasury shares are subsequently reissued at below the reacquisition cost, the excess of the cost over the reissuance price is debited to the following in order of priority. So first priority, difference is debited under share premium treasury shares account, arising from the same class of share capital. And if the balance in share premium treasury shares is insufficient or it has no outstanding balance, any excess is debited to retained earnings. Yan. Since ABC Company does not have share premium treasury shares, the 30,000 pesos excess reacquisition cost minus reissuance price is debited to retained earnings. So this 30,000, debit mo siya sa retained earnings. Kapag ano lang siya, kapag ang reissuance is below cost. Pag above cost, magkakaroon ka ng share premium treasury shares. Credit naman siya. Okay? So, clear ba? May question kayo dito sa treasury shares?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay, so meron namang retirement of shares. Kapag nag-reacquire kayo and ni-retire nyo na yung share kasi hindi nyo na siya ma-reissue again. So shares are considered retired if they have been reacquired and canceled. So reacquired and canceled na siya, according to SEC regulations. So unlike for treasury shares which can be subsequently reissued, retired shares cannot be reissued anymore. So kapag nagre-retire kayo ng shares, you need to amend, I think, you need to amend your articles of incorporation. Mababawasan na yung authorized share capital nyo. When shares are retired, the total par value and related share premium of retired shares are removed from the books of accounts. Any difference between the total amount removed and the retirement cost is accounted for as follows. So meron kayong two cases. If the par value and related share premium of retired shares exceed the retirement cost, the difference is credited to share premium retirement account. And if the par value and related share premium of the retired shares are less than the retirement cost, the difference is debited to the following in order of priority. Share premium treasury shares, retained earnings. So same lang sa treasury shares. Itong order of priority nyo. So example tayo. On January 1, the statement of financial position of ABC company shows the following information. So meron kang share capital, 800,000, share premium 160, share premium, treasury shares 5,000, retained earnings 535,000. So ang case 1 natin, retirement cost less than original issuance price. So ABC Company reacquires 1,000 shares at 80 per share on July 1 and retires them on September 1, 2020. Yan. So first, you record the reacquisition on July 1. Debit treasury shares, 1,000 times 80 cost method, di ba? So 80 yung gagamitin natin. 80,000, credit cash, 80,000. And then subsequently na-retire siya on September 1, yung entry nyo on September 1, debit share capital. Tatanggalin nyo na ngayon yung share capital nyo sa books nyo. Teka lang, wait lang. Ay, sorry. On September 1, yung journal entry nyo upon retirement of shares is debit share capital. Tatanggalin nyo na siya at par value na. So, ang par value ng ng shares nyo is 100. So, 1,000 yung na-retire. 1,000 times 100, debit nyo is 100,000. So, i-debit nyo rin, tatanggalin nyo yung related share premium ng share capital nyo. So, since meron siyang 160,000 na share premium dito, i-divide nyo by the total issued share capital. So, this 160,000 divide nyo by the issued. Magkano ba yung issued? 800,000 divided by 100 peso par value. So, 8,000 shares yung na-issue nyo. So, 8,000 shares ang na-issue nyo dito. I-divide nyo to by 8,000 shares. So, 20 pesos per share ang share premium nyo. So, debit nyo ang share premium, 1,000 times 20, 20,000. Credit treasury shares, 80,000. Ito, i-credit nyo na siya kasi tatanggalin na. And then, credit share premium retirement, 40,000. Yun yung difference. So, the share premium from original issuance is computed as follows. So, total share premium before retirement, 160,000 divided by total shares issued, 8,000. So, the premium per share is 20 pesos. So, wag nyo lang tanggalin yung share capital. Tatanggalin nyo rin yung related share premium ng issued share capital na ni-retire nyo. So, again, ang difference dito nyo siya ilalagay sa share premium retirement account. Yan. Sa other case naman natin, retirement cost is greater than original issuance price. ABC reacquires 1,000 shares at 140 per share on July 1, 2020 and immediately retires them. Again, i-debit nyo yung share capital at par value 100,000, share premium na compute na natin kanina 20,000, and debit nyo rin yung share premium treasury shares. Since meron siyang balance of 5,000 dito sa given, meron siyang 5,000, so i-apply nyo siya sa difference. And then since not sufficient yung 5,000, i-debit nyo pa further yung retained earnings nyo, which will be the balancing figure. So ultimately, you will credit cash at 140,000. So dito, mas malaki yung cost. Greater than original issuance price. So, ang original issuance price niya lang is 120 pesos. 100 plus 20. Pero na-retire siya at 140. So, yung 20 pesos or 20,000 difference is allocated 5,000 to share premium treasury shares and 15,000 to retained earnings. Since given dito sa may treasury shares kang share premium, i-apply nyo to sa difference. Kapag insufficient na siya, retained earnings. Kapag wala namang share premium treasury shares, full 20,000 sa retained earnings. When shares are reacquired and immediately retired, there is no need to set up a treasury share account. So dito kung ma-notice nyo, hindi nyo na kahit na sinabi ABC reacquired 1,000 shares, hindi na kayo nag-debit treasury shares, credit cash, directly nyo nang dinebit yung share capital account kasi sinabi immediately retires them. So, hindi na kayo magjo-journalize pa ng debit treasury shares, credit cash. So, the par value and related share premium of the retired shares are immediately debited with a corresponding credit to cash. In the accounting for treasury shares and retirement of shares, retained earnings may be decreased but never increased. So, kapag sa true or false, may tanong na ganon, false na yun. Never na i-increase ang retained earnings mo kapag nagre-retire or nagre-reacquire ng shares. Okay? May question ba kayo regarding retirement of shares? So far, nagigets naman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so mag-proceed tayo sa donated capital. Donated capital arises from gifts received by the corporation from non-reciprocal transactions. Non-reciprocal meaning one-way lang. One-way lang yung transaction. Yung transaction na yun, nagbigay lang ng something, nag-donate ng something. Ang either shareholder, government, or kahit sino nag-donate sa corporation nyo. So, without anything in return that the corporation gave them. So, one way lang yung transaction. And it may arise from the following. Donations from shareholders, these are credited to share premium. So kapag nag-donate ang shareholders sa company, let's say for example, cash. So i-debit nyo yung cash, credit nyo yung share premium, donated capital. Kapag nag-donate ng land, debit nyo yung land, credit share premium, donated capital. Kapag sa shareholders naman. Kapag donation from government, these are recognized as government grants. So later nyo pa yan matutunan kapag nag-government accounting kayo. And then donations from other sources naman, these are recognized as income. So from other sources, income siya. Ito yung difference. When conditions attached to the donation are fulfilled or are reasonably expected to be fulfilled, and B, the donation becomes receivable, and C, the criteria for asset recognition are met. So if all these three are met, mare-recognize nyo na yung donation as income. Income from other sources. So donations from shareholders may be in the form of, so ang i-discuss lang natin, donations from shareholders. Cash recognized at the amount of cash received, non-cash assets recognized at fair value of the non-cash assets. So remember, fair value ang gagamitin nyo. Huwag nyong gamitin ang historical cost. Huwag nyong gamitin kung anumang cost ang binigay sa problem. Gamitin nyo ang fair value kapag non-cash asset yung dinonate. Okay, so entities own shares initially recorded through memo entry. Kapag nag-donate sila ng sariling shares ng corporation, memo entry lang yung entry nyo. Donated capital is recognized only, ang share premium donated capital, marirecognize nyo lang kapag na-reissue nyo siya, yung mga shares na dinonate sa inyo. This is because no asset is generated from the donated shares until they are subsequently reissued. So kapag nag-reissue lang kayo, dun lang kayo magkakaroon ng asset or which is cash. So dun nyo lang marirecognize yung share premium donated capital. The donated shares are not to be resold. The entity should effect a formal reduction of its authorized capital by retiring the shares received. So ito, kapag ni-specify ng nag-donate na hindi nyo pwedeng i-reissue yan, donation ko lang yan. So, useless din. Wala ring corresponding asset na na-receive. So, ang gagawin ngayon, they should make a formal reduction of its authorized capital. So, mag-a-amend sila ng Articles of Incorporation at i-file sa Securities and Exchange Commission at i-retire yung shares na na-receive kasi hindi na sila mare-reissue. So example of cash and non-cash donations from shareholders. ABC Company received cash of 100,000 and land with fair value of 500,000 and historical cost of 300,000 from a shareholder. No conditions are attached to the donation. So ang entry nyo, debit cash 100,000, credit land 500,000. Bakit? Kasi ang fair value ang ginamit nyo, hindi yung historical cost. So debit land 500,000 and credit share premium donated capital 600,000. So ganun lang kasimple yung journal entry nyo kapag may nag-donate ng cash and non-cash donations yung shareholders nyo. Okay, kapag shares naman ang na-receive nyo sa shareholders nyo, ABC Company received 1,000 shares with par value of 100 and fair value of 120 per share from a shareholder as donation. So, memorandum entry lang. Received 1,000 shares with par value of 100 from a shareholder as donation. Later on, kapag nire-issue nyo na to, ganito yung entry nyo. Subsequently, ABC Company reissues the 1,000 donated shares at 130 per share. Debit cash, 1,000 times 130. Credit share premium donated capital. So kapag na-reissue nyo lang ulit yung shares, makikredit kayo ng share premium donated capital. So, at dyan nag-end ang ating lecture sa corporation. So, may question ba kayo so far? Clear naman? Or wala kayong naintindihan?
Clear, ma'am. Review na lang. If ever mabuyong ulit.
Okay. So, yun. Yung sa share premium retirement, para mabalance lang yung credit and debt. Balik tayo sa retirement. Ito, share premium. Yes. Kasi hindi natin kine-credit yung retained earnings. Kasi sabi, never nga na i-increase ang retained earnings. So instead of retained earnings, ang gagamitin na account is share premium retirement account. Kapag ang retirement cost is less than the original issuance price. So meaning, mas mababa yung binayaran ng company compare sa investment ng investor. So nagka-loss yung investor ngayon kasi instead na at par value siya, ang na-receive niya lang is lesser sa original issuance price. So, share premium retirement account yung gagamitin sa difference ng original issuance, which is 120, and the cost of 80. So, share premium retirement ang gagamitin. Yes. Hindi ginagamit yung retained earnings account. Share premium retirement ang ginagamit. So, yun pa. May question kayo sa sa exams. May concern kayo, i-message nyo lang ako. I think mas okay kapag yung finals nyo, Google Forms ko na lang ulit. Yung exam, baka by today matatapos ko siya and mariready siya by end of today. So, sabihan nyo na lang ako. Kung magte-take na kayo, bibigay ko ulit yung link. Kasi laging daming reklamo sa e-class. Nag-e-error, minsan nag-e-exit agad, minsan di naglo-load. So, mas i-Google Forms ko na lang yung final exam nyo para mas smooth siya, I think. Yung coverage, mag-focus kayo mostly sa hati kailangan covered lahat Isasama ko yung accounting for corporation pala kasi important siya. So, kasama siya sa finals. Ilang items? 50. Yung mga hindi nakapag-take ng quiz, i-message nyo lang ako, i-open ko ulit. Yan, less than 1 minute na lang.